Hello, everyone. It's Crypto Granny here, Susie. I hope you're all well, looking after yourself, looking after your family and friends and your beautiful animals and other people and animals just to make this world a better place. Now, I've seen some very exciting moves in crypto overnight. Bitcoin got to an all-time high of 124,169. Excuse me, the previous high was 122,658. And what we're seeing in this market at the moment, excuse me, is just profit taking. Okay. I'm not too worried about it. The VWAP for Bitcoin, when we look at the dailies, around 117,500, something like that. I'll find that up when we look at the technicals for Bitcoin. But in my mind, any pullback in this market is just bullish, bullish, bullish. Oh, that's better, particularly when Mr. Trump is out there potentially proposing a new law, potentially where crypto, particularly gains in crypto, could be capital gains tax free, right? He was also on the wire talking about the amazing technology of Bitcoin, and you've got a very pro government, particularly in the US, re crypto. So I'm not too worried about this profit taking. It is obviously profit taking. The market cap got through 4 trillion overnight and more. And we've seen it, pull back from there. People see that as a short-term top at the moment. But I believe any pullback in this market is a market be bought, okay? It's as simple as that. You've got many players coming into this market now, creating new EFTs, whether it be on Ethereum, Hashadera, XRP, potentially Tron, and many, many others. So I think this is a very, very bullish market, and it's very, very hard to go against it. Overnight, we did see liquidation of something like 420 million, and half of that was Bitcoin, and half of that was Ethereum. Okay. But again, you can't, how can you be not bullish this market? It surprises me that people are still trying to short this market. It's beyond me, honestly. This is a buy market, people, a buy market where any dip has to be supported, okay? It's as simple as that. So, clearly it came off the highs of 124,169. We're currently at 118,515 on Bitcoin. Dominance, I keep a very close eye on, currently is 59.3887%. I'm calling that Bitcoin dominance down to 35% by the end of the year. I cannot see why there wouldn't be any reason for Bitcoin to get to at least 165,000 or 180 by the end of the year. All the legislation that's coming out of the government in the US particularly is bullish cryptocurrency. It's like standing in front of a train that's downhill, right? You're just going to get bowled over if you're short. It's as simple as that. So market cap today is 3.971 trillion, has come back a bit. We're seeing very large volume here of 224 bill, and liquidity is still very good at 10 bill, just over 10 bill. Now, normally when you see liquidity go down, it's because the market is selling and taking profit. So I think this is just a healthy scenario with markets. They don't always go up in a straight line. It's healthy profit taking, and it's as simple as that, right? So Bitcoin's down 1.66% over a 24-hour clock. Ethereum is at 4535. Its all-time high is 4861. I don't think it got there overnight. But, again, it's just healthy profit taking, right? Many people are now starting to invest in Ethereum's ETFs as well. XRP is hitting a wall around that 331 at the moment, down 5.49%. It's had a mega rally when you look at the yearly on that, 436. Maybe it can pull back a bit. But, there's targets out there now for $6 on XRP, okay, whether you believe it or not. But, this is a bullish market. This market could go anywhere, right? And, again, I'll say it again, the dip has to be supported, right? Really. It's a dip market. You buy the dip, another 5% down this, 10% or 15%. I'm a new buyer of cryptocurrency, okay? Binance is at 837, did get to its all-time high of 868, it's pulled back 1.93%. Solana was over $200 earlier, 208, 210, something like that, but it's 193.21, down 4.6%. ADA was looking pretty good, got up to about 99 cents. I don't know what's behind ADA. It doesn't put on any clients, so it's beyond me how it can be at 92 cents, even here. I don't like ADA really. I don't think they've done a lot in the last 4 or 5 years. They're certainly not putting on clients. And I don't know how they make their fees, because seriously, every meme they put on their platform just hasn't worked. Surprisingly, they're up 4.79%. Maybe there's a rumor out there there could be an ETF. I don't really know, but Tron is at 0.358485. Just pretty much even Steven at the moment. But look, I'm very bullish. Tron, they will burn coin. They're buying back their own coin as we speak. Dodge is at 0.2261, down 8% today. Link is a mega nord as far as I'm concerned. Any pullback in Link, I've seen forecasts on Link $95 to $120, and I think it'll get there. It'll take out its all-time high. They are doing a lot of business in terms of risk-weighted assets, in terms of pricing oracles, in terms of security for the networks and other networks, and they offer interoperability as well. Also, don't forget, when Ethereum goes up, Link goes up as well, because Link does use part of Ethereum's network for different coins, right, on that network as well. Stellar is down 6.97 today. I think any weakness in XRP is a weak. You get the weakness in Stellar as well. The correlation's quite high. BCH got up to about 610. Seems to be hitting a wall there. But, again, I'm not that worried about this, okay? H-bar down 5.49% at 25 cents. Avalanche has had an unlock. Something like 1.6 million of Avalanche came out of escrow. So that's going to make, the price a little bit soggy. Litecoin, I think, is one to keep an eye on too. We bought some Litecoin the other day, and I think Litecoin could do very well in the scheme of things, because a lot of corporate treasuries are starting to buy Litecoin. And Pepe, which is on the Ethereum network, is hitting a lot of resistance around this 401,268. But there's other coins we do keep an eye on, like Crow. Obviously, OakX, we used to be an OakX. Algo, we used to be an MV chain. These are the other ones we do keep an eye on, as well as ACI Fetch, as well as Atom, and a few others. But let's go on to the technicals and see what we can glean from those, see how much selling there is around the technicals, and whether this is going to be about for the next couple of days or not. But I think basically, I'm a mega bull, people. You're basically fighting the Fed. Mr. Trump is calling now the Fed should cut interest rates on the 16th September by 1%. I agree with that. The US, economic data is off a cliff. We're starting to see higher unemployment, higher, job losses everywhere, right across the world, actually. And most central banks in the world are in cut mode, okay? So it's as simple as that. So wherever you are in the world, grab yourself a cup of coffee or wherever you are, and let's look at the technicals and see what we can glean from the technicals. Well, let's look at Bitcoin USD tether, and we have seen, a big wick on the way down. Obviously, the short-term traders are selling Bitcoin as we speak, and according to TradingView, Bitcoin got up to roughly, if you believe what TradingView says, roughly about, I can see that, about 124, something like 124,500, something like that. So this is a reversal wick. But we should see it bounce off quite nicely from the VWAP, okay? Otherwise, it may do some more damage. VWAP comes in at 100 and very carefully, let's have a look here. VWAP comes in at 117,377, okay? So I'd like to see it hold that VWAP. If it doesn't, probably the next level of support is around 115,500, okay? On the way up, we've got 7.95K on the way up, and on the way down, 9.92K. If we go to the 4 hours on this, we do see obviously profit taking here. The pivot line comes in on the 4 hours around 117,165. So, we are seeing a bit of selling here, but I'm not too worried about it. It's a healthy profit taking in a market that has run hard, and it will continue to run hard going forward. I think as I said, another 5 or 10% in this market is a buy as far as I'm concerned. So again, markets, as I said, don't go up in a straight line, but it is healthy profit taking. We look at the 4 hour. The 4 hours 3,000 up, and the down is 4,000 down. Okay, let's have a look at Ethereum. See where that got to. All righty. So what we've got, let's go to the daily here. What we've got here is Ethereum is way above its VWAP, so it looks a bit healthier than the Bitcoin. Currently the VWAP on the daily is 4067. So it has a fair way away from that VWAP, right, of the daily, right? On the way up, we've got 327. On the way down, 393. We haven't been given a sell yet on our trading system, so the short-term up is still intact. Okay, if we look at the 4 hours, we've been given a sell. Looks like it got to around about 4805. We have been given a sell, but again, I'm still, happy to pick up any pullback in this market, okay, because I'm ultra bullish. Yes, we have sellers out there, but that's just the way it is. On the 4 hour, we've got 155 up and 177 down. Let's look at XRP. It has hit a wall around that 331. That is firm resistance for XRP at the moment to be off to the races. Many people are saying if it gets through 331, it could get to 360, something like that. I agree with that. We've seen a lot of selling on, let's have a look at the daily on this. Seen a lot of selling around, got to 364, and then we've seen the next level of resistance was 331, okay? So around this level here, 331, okay? So it's right on VWAP here for the daily, and VWAP comes in around right here, actually, 311. So I'd like to see that VWAP intact. Otherwise, we may see it go down to about 305, and then the next level is 292, where it bounced off that 292. So on the daily, we've got 102 million up and 112 million down. Doesn't surprise me. You're going to see a little bit of weakness in XRP because it's had a mega run this year, and it's outperformed most altcoins. And I think other altcoins like Chainlink, like Tron, like Binance need to catch up, and they will, as far as I'm concerned. If we look at the 4 hour on this one, has moved through its VWAP. There's a big sell wick here. We might see some more weakness overnight, but I think anything around 285 to 292 is a nice new entry point for XRP, okay? If you look at the volume, it's 36 million on the way up and 53 million on the way down. So that looks like you're going to see some more short-term weakness in Ethereum, in XRP. Particular, and again, probably buying around 288 to 292 is not a bad entry point. You could have a type stop loss on that if you wanted to, around 285. Okay, let's have a look at Link, one of my favorite coins of all time. It's extremely cheap at the moment, extremely cheap. All right, so let's go to the daily on Link. It's still fair away from its VWAP. Its VWAP comes in on the daily at 20.61. We haven't been given a sell yet on Link. It's still holding up quite nicely, even though it's a little bit weaker today. On the way up, it's 3.19 mil, and on the way down, 4.18 mil. But it is being reasonably well supported. If we look at the 4 hours on this, we have been given a sell. Could get to potentially short term, maybe 21.57, but I think that's a buy level in my mind. There's too much going on with Link. More and more people are using their technology. There's a lot of crypto in the crypto market, and every crypto's network needs to use Link. But not only that, with traditional finance needs to use Link, and all the big banks in the world are using Link. So it's a great story. If we look at the 4 hours on this, 139 mil up and 2.12 mil down. So yes, there is a bit of selling, but I'm not too worried about it, okay? Let's have a look at Binance, see how that's holding up. Again, don't forget with Binance, they do burn their own coin, okay? And as they get busier and busier, the network continues to burn. This is quite good. It's still above its VWAP. If you look at the daily VWAP on Binance, it's around 797.79, okay? We haven't been given a sell yet on this one, but if we look at the daily on the way up, 133K, and on the way down, 224K. If we go to the 4 hour on this one, could potentially get to 834 on the 4 hour, okay? If you look at what's on their way up, 52,000 on the way up, and on the way down, 103. So I think that would be a new buy level at around 8. Let's have a look here, roughly maybe 832, 822, something like that. 822 to 832 would be a good buying level as far as I'm concerned. If we have a look at Pepe, just for a number of coins that we do hold in our portfolio, Pepe's been hitting a resistance of 4 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 8, something like that. The bulls will be disappointed because the market hasn't gone on with the rally. Okay, if you have a look at this, VWAP comes in at 4 zeros, 1, 3, 3. We're currently under that, so I wouldn't like it to do too much damage. Big line of support is basically 4 zeros and a 1. So it looks like there's quite a bit of selling around for Pepe at the moment. 9.4 trill on the way up and down 10.94 trill on the way down. So we could see around that 4 zeros and a 1, or just slightly under, around, maybe 4 zeros, 0.1018, something like that, or just below 1 with the 4 zeros. I'd be looking to buy below the 1 for a new entry point, okay? So daily, as I said, is 9.4 trill on the way up and down 10.94 trill. If you look at the 4 hours, 4 hours, what have we got here? Got a sell here on the 4 hours. Yeah, a line of support here is pretty much here, okay? 4 zeros, 1120. On the 4 hours, we've got 3.39 on the way up and negative 5.6 on the way down. So technically, it does look a bit weak and a bit soft, but look, again, it's also a pseudo for having a position on Ethereum as well, because Pepe is on the Ethereum network, okay? What else do we want to have a look at today? Anything else interesting technically? We don't hold Stellar. Maybe have a look at that. V-Chain's not doing much. That's one we keep an eye on. Dot as well. Generally, just this is healthy profit taking, and I think any big sell-off like 5-10%, I just don't think we're going to get it. I think we might get maybe anything from 5 to 10%, but in my mind, that is a buy level. So pretty much that's the story, people, and we just have to see where it goes. But everything Mr. Trump is doing is ultra bullish in crypto markets, and you'll see that with the news stories and what's on Twitter today. It's just so bullish for crypto. You can do a short-term trade, but the bigger picture is up and away as the ETFs expand and more money comes into this market. I can't see this market giving up too many gains. That's to be perfectly honest with you. Anyway, let's go to the news stories and see what's out today and what's conducive and to crypto. A lot of really bullish stuff going on in the press, particularly about potential, capital gains tax-free on crypto gains. Okay, that's a big one. Plus, Mr. Trump calling the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, to go down to cut interest rates by 5% on the 16th of September. And I think it's long due. I mean, just because they've got a meeting on, the FOMC got a meeting on the 16th of September to the 17th of September, they can cut into meeting, okay? And that would send a real signal to the market that things aren't great economically in the US, and they're not. When you look at the data, we are seeing PPI came out today. It was higher than they anticipated, around 3.2%. They're expecting 2.8. But CPI, the Fed look at that, came out at 2.7, which was quite weak. So the bulls are pricing in literally 95% chance of a cut, which is conducive to risk assets like crypto, okay? So let's go to our news stories and see what the main news stories are today. Obviously, news stories are mainly about Tron, Justin Sun suing Bloomberg because he doesn't want people to know how much he's worth for security reasons. People do get hacked, their crypto, they get they can be attacked. One guy, in the Eastern Europe, got attacked and killed because he held crypto. And I can understand Justin Sun saying he doesn't want his wealth plastered all over the media because it is a security risk, and everyone needs to have great security when it comes to their own crypto, okay? Don't tell people, store your crypto on a wallet, Ledger Nano X or S, and, look after yourself and have a backup, right? Because if you lose your crypto, like one of the Mellon family did, they lost something like 3 billion of crypto because the owner, obviously died, and no one knows where that 3 billion of XRP is. So, crypto security is very, very important, and it's something I really emphasize a lot with my clients as well. Anyway, let's go to the news stories and see what we have there, and yeah, won't be set.